was just a patch, and then Continuum Shift Extend, which was a separate release. You had to buy again.
That's really loud.
Yeah.
The way that this song sounds like a particular song from Thunder Force 4.
This is all done by the same person who did the music for Guilty Gear.
Okay.
I love anime opening themes.
I believe this is sang by the voice actress from Noel.
I fucking hate Platinum.
I wanted to sub Platinum, but I couldn't be bothered.
What?
I see that Ragna has heterochromia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's because he was bitten by a vampire, which is another thing we will get to maybe.
Yeah, he's a Dampir,
Oh,
which means half vampire.
Okay, so welcome to Continuum Shift Extend. So Continuum Shift Extend is, like Six said, the third version of Continuum Shift. Basically, Continuum Shift 1 had a patch that was called Continuum Shift 2 that rebalanced some stuff, and Continuum Shift Extend is kind of like all the DLC packaged together, a new character and some rebalance. But the basic system stuff is there, and we're gonna just play this one rather than the previous versions. So let's
A little
go
more
back.
story stuff too.
Yeah, so let's go back to arcade mode again, because I'm not touching story mode. This is where I gave up on the BlazBlue story. Like in 1 on Calamity Trigger, I was full on board, but after that, no. So, new characters. We have Makoto Nanaya, the first DLC character, Valkenhayn R. Helsing, the second character, Platinum Trinity, the third DLC character, Release Clover, who was at Extend, Mew 12, who is a version of Noel, she was the boss of Continuum Shift, and the raw new characters are Hazama and Tsubaki, while New 13 got renamed to Lambda 11 because New 13 is technically dead. So we're just gonna go back to Hakumen, because that's the only character I know how to play. There's some garbage.
So, the end of Calamity Trigger ends with the reveal of the actual villain, Hazama, who's the dude with green hair and the black suit that we saw before. He has been sort of pretending to be a normal officer, but actually playing everyone for a fool, and the ancient enemy of Hakumen and blah 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 blah. In this game, he's actually playable.
Yes.
Okay, where does this fucker fit into the plot?
Hazama or Platinum the Trinity?
Platinum the Trinity.
Okay.
This anime
Before you start that, I just want to mention that this game also introduced Hype Dog, who is important to the plot.
Hype Dog is wonderful. Hype Dog is the source of power in this setting.
Yep.
All power.
I always pick this map and people hate me for it. But yeah.
So, Platinum the Trinity is it's a girl's body with 3 souls trapped in it. One of them is a little girl named Luna. One of them is a little boy named Senna. And for a long time, that was it. And then there was a third soul that got trapped in when they picked up this magical staff that she has.
Is it Hype Dog?
I'm afraid it is not Hype Dog.
God damn it.
Also, this is the move I've been missing. And you can charge it and just fly forward.
It's a great move.
I miss it so much. But yeah, before we continue with Platinum, I just want to go over some system changes first. So
Sure.
there's a lot to unpack. First off, bursts are no longer don't put your health in the negative. Instead, you have a stock Oh my god, the gold bursts. Instead you have a stock, which is a little reddish BB icon, and you regain 1 when you lose a round. So basically have 1 at the start and then 1 if you lose. Now, another thing that's been changed is we don't have the guard lever anymore, we have guard primers, which are the bullets you see under the health bar. Basically, the more damage you take, the more of those bullets are consumed while you're blocking, and eventually those bullets, when you're completely out, you'll just consistently keep breaking your block. And that is a stat that varies from character, like, I don't know, Tiger will have 10 and somebody will have 4. So those are kind of like the...
Can't believe... Go ahead.
Yeah, those are kind of like the major changes. As far as like stuff that changed with Hakumen, they kind of rearranged some of his moves, so he has better stuff. But also, now he cuts projectiles. So if you see a giant black orb, that's the effect you get by using your sword and just cutting an enemy projectile, and that damages both the opponent and absorbs any additional projectiles. Wait, those are kind of like the biggest changes. I'll show off maybe some later, but let's talk about the plot for
So the third soul in Platinum the Trinity, and the reason she's the Trinity is Trinity Glassfield. Right. I forgot her name for a second. So she is one of the 6 heroes. She was a mage, and she got trapped in that staff, basically. And now occasionally she surfaces within Platinum Trinity to try and direct the person towards, you know, like the good of the world and you know, being helpful. But generally the other 2 personalities are fairly selfish and clueless. That's Platinum the Trinity, basically.
Okay, but plot.
I could get deeper in it, but I really hate that character a lot, so...
So
No, but what I was saying about the barrier thing is that's actually something that Sonic the Fighters actually did, which is kind of weird seeing that concept again.
yeah, well, you still have the barrier as a separate meter. Really, the guard primer is just like your kind of raw blocking strength. And there were actual like guard primer killer combos that were meant to just break off your guard primers. Also, if you burst, so you have 2 bursts now, you have the offensive and defensive one. If you do an offensive burst, you get a free juggle on the opponent. If you do a defensive one, it's just like a standard like get off me card, but it also I think consumes most of your guard primers.
And you also get meter for gold bursts.
Yes. It's basically like Guilty Gear's Gold Burst.
Please, though, I need more plot.
Okay, well this is Lambda 11. You remember New 13 from the last game. Okay, is it time? It's time for the Noel shit, isn't it?
Yes,
Oh boy.
you can't avoid it
Okay.
anymore.
I can't. I want to, but I can't. So, okay. I talked about them trying to recreate the Black Beast. Splitcar HD OD was not a thing yet. That's next game. So they're trying to create the Black Beast. They're doing these experiments in the cauldron and creating this stuff. It turns out the way you create the Black Beast is you create this artificial person and have them fuse with Ragna to make the Black Beast. New 13 is one of those artificial people. But they're all the same person with the same soul, and Noel Vermilion is also one of them, and Lambda 11 is also one of them, and Mu 12 is also one of them. They're all the same fucking person.
Well, isn't Mu 12 literally the Noel? Like, just a different
Yes,
form?
yes, that's just her waking up to her you know, spookiness. Waking up to her spookiness. I should use that somewhere else. That's good.
It's a good phrase. But also, Noel is a clone of Ragna's sister?
Did we get into that in this one? Yes, she is. But yeah, so and then in Central Fiction we learn even more about all of that. We'll get to that then, I guess, because that's a pretty big reveal.
But I mean,
so
like,
yeah. There, Ragna Jin had a sister named Saya, who was killed during this whole like attack. The Hazama attacked them, tried to kill Ragna, cut off his arm. Jin went crazy. Saya presumably died. Spoilers, she didn't. But we'll get there.
Also, one thing I really like about this version of Hakumen is, in addition to having a color from Zero from Code Geass, the voice actor completely sounds like Zero in this game. I don't know why he changed the way he talks. Probably because his throat hurt from the first game.
Because it's funny.
Yeah,
it's a good thing to lean into. It's great.
Yeah, but they actually
yes.
Sorry. Yeah, but they actually re-record. Actually, from game to game, they keep re-recording voice lines for characters. It's a bit impressive, and each character has several voice sets, and they use different sets depending on who they're fighting.
I'm still sad they changed Hakumen's Magatama meter, because the previous one looked better in my opinion.
Yeah. It's functionally the same, it just looks different. Because every game had a UI overhaul, not just because of the new mechanics, but they kind of changed the theme color. So the previous one was blue, Continuum Shift is purple, Chrono Phantasma might be pink or light blue, I can't remember. But yeah.
Old Man Marsh asks, does every character have completely different meters and mechanics for them? Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much every character has unique meters. Not all of them, but most of them have a special meter or a special mechanic. So, like, Tager here has magnetism and the spark bolt meter. Everybody has some bullshit. It's great.
Basically you have a button for bullshit called the right button, and everybody has a different bullshit.
Ragna has lifesteal, Noelle has, like, auto combo, Jin has, like, ice and freezing people. It's all great.
Yeah. Also, they moved Tager's sparkle meter from beneath his health bar to above his special meter, which is infinitely better. Also, to make a point, just look at how many guard primers Tager has compared to me.
That boy is built to block.
Yep.
Yeah, Tager was the character that I played.
Yeah. This is how you play Tager's on. This is how you play Tager's online. You just go back and keep poking them.
Yep.
Because there's no other way.
No. This game, I feel like they made Tager better if you're good in Central Fiction, but in CS you could be so bullshit with him because you could do your command throw into gadget finger, into command throw, into gadget finger, into command throw, into gadget finger, until someone died if they didn't know what was going on.
Tager was definitely the strongest in this iteration, I think.
He was a real newbie stomper for sure.
But the creative director of this game went on record to say that he hates grapplers, and then kind of shows in every game after this one. Or every iteration after this one until Central Fiction. After that, he's kind of like normal again.
We only saw it very briefly there, but for a little bit you saw that there were these like white lines streaking across Hakumen. That was because Tager had him magnetized, and so moves that used the magnetism would have pulled him around the battlefield.
Yeah, basically Tager's gimmick is that if he magnetizes the opponent, moves and grabs that he does with the D button attract the opponent towards him. So even though he can't like jump or like dash towards the opponent, he can still pull the opponent towards him. And the magnetism physics are really wonky, especially if you're doing them in the air, because it's some weird shit when you see what Tager players can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that being utterly confusing the first time I tried to do that. Where I was like, oh, I can just do my command grab and just have the person just kind of appear before me. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, bullet bit the bullet very quickly.
I like a lot about the concepts of that character, but they really just never gave her the tools to succeed.
Yeah, she reminds me a lot of Tsubaki from the first Continuum Shift, because she was like really fun to play, but holy shit did you have to work for your victory. Just feel like everything was against you.
And then Continuum Shift 2 came out, and Tsubaki was incredibly OP. And then Continuum Shift Extend came out, they nerfed her to the ground, and she never recovered.
Oh, damn it.
Hooray! Plot for Hakumen versus Noelle. Okay. So, Hakumen. So Jin. In the timeline where Jin becomes Hakumen, Noelle is not a thing. There was no Noelle. And he was really close with a character we have yet to meet, who is Tsubaki, who is Noelle's friend. Her name is Tsubaki. She was his secretary as Jin, and eventually they became lovers. And after he became Hakumen, he named a move after her. And all of this is basically to say that he doesn't treat Noelle as basically being a human for most of the games. You know, kind of because she's not, but just like very disrespectful and scornful, and just treats her like this doll that's in his way.
But Hakumen doesn't really give a shit because he's Hakumen.
That's true. Hakumen is critically short on shits.
Probably see a doctor about that.
Did Tsubaki die in this timeline? I forget that part of it.
In this timeline?
No, in the one where Hakumen. Yeah.
No, I have no clue.
I looked it up. Yep, I forgot about that. Yes, that's true.
Which is why Hakumen is very clingy when it comes to Tsubaki.
Well, and also because they were lovers, and then he, they're not anymore. Like
Also-
there's actually a really cool scene in Continuum or in Central Fiction where he meets her and she's like, "Hey, that move, that has the same name as me," and he's like, "Yeah, listen."
Okay, who's this fucker?
So this is Aurelius Clover, who's the dad of Carl Clover, and he is basically a sorry excuse for a human being.
He sucks. Yeah, he sucks a lot.
He neglected his son. He turned his wife into the doll he summons. So there's a lot of weird shit about him.
Yeah, he's just the amoral, smug, bad scientist character. Yeah, he turned his daughter into a puppet, which is what Carl fights with. Carl's trying to find a way to turn her back, and he's like, that was good, but I bet I can do better. So he turned his wife into a puppet as well. And that's what he fights with. And Carl is his young son looking for revenge.
What is the general plot of this game?
Of this game.
So, in this one, it's been revealed that Hazama is kind of manipulating things and is the reason that a lot of the shit is happening. So, Ragnar the Blood Edge is trying to hunt down Hazama and kill him. So is Hakumen. To a certain extent, so is Noelle. And Rachel, a lot of people. However, it turns out at the end of this, he does kind of kill Hazama, but Hazama is just a vessel for the real bad guy whose name is Terumi, and Terumi wanted to be killed so that he could turn into a ghost, so he could attack the computers that are controlling the time loop and shut them off, so that the time loop ends. That all made sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm doing a good job.
I mean, structurally, that sentence made logical sense. Whether or not it's sane is a different question.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, let's talk about Arakune. That little side plot.
Okay, so actually Arakune's is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
He was a scientist that was working to investigate the boundary, the other dimension, and its power, and he tried to get some power out of the boundary, and it went bad, and it fucked him up real bad. And now he's a spooky glue monster.
And his wife is trying to cure him, and his wife is lychee failing.
I don't think they're actually married, I just think they were close. But yeah, they were just very close. But yeah, Lychee Failing is a doctor in the city who is also a former scientist and is trying to find a way to fix him.
And she kind of goes to like all all viable lengths to do that, including allying herself with very bad people.
Also, just another bit of trivia about Lychee is that all of her moves are based on Mahjong hands.
Yep. And she has a little panda hairpin.
I mean, knowing that bit about the Mahjong, I just hate her deeply now. Fuck Mahjong.
I was gonna say, isn't her astral finish called 13 Orphans?
Something like that, I think.
I hate her.
Which is the highest scoring Yakuman.
Also, they changed Arakuna so he doesn't curse you immediately when he throws the cloud, instead he has to build it up. Which, thank God, because he is a character that has been consistently nerfed since the first game, and only now is completely useless, after 6 iterations of being nerfed.
What announcer are you using?
I don't know, I just cycled through them until I got someone that didn't sound terrible.
I tried to stick with the default, for better or worse.
The default in Continuum Shift 1 was one of the worst announcers I have ever heard in a fighting game.
Hey, if Jin is Hakumen, why does Jin have ice moves and Hakumen doesn't? Jin's ice moves are based on his sword, Yukinesia, which is an ice sword, which by the time he's Hakumen, he no longer has.
It is also something that you can get in PSO2 to turn your swords into.
That sounds dope.
Yeah, there is a bunch of BlazBlue skins you can get in PSO2. I had the the Mew one, and also the Knoll one, I think. The Mew one is kind of expensive, if that does not, or at least it is one of the BlazBlue skins. It is the more Masada costing one.
Shit ain't cheap.
Doesn't his sword make him crazy or something? I mean,
Yeah.
Jin.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a point in, I think it's only at the end of Chrono Phantasma where he starts to control the sword instead of the sword controlling him. But for these first 2 games, it's mostly the sword talking through him. It just basically has him.
Well, it's also amplifying and twisting his desires, like him wanting to kill his brother.
Sure. Yep. I mean, like, not literally the sword talking, it's just manipulating him to the point that he isn't really in much control.
So, I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a single character in this game who can catch a fucking break?
Taokaka does okay.
Yeah. She never really is. I mean, she doesn't think about it, but she really has a horrible existence, and she will probably die young, and her kind
That's
have no
true.
future. But she doesn't think
That's
about
true.
it. She's oblivious to her tragedy.
Fucking what?
She's an artificially made cat person who they're all on basically a genetic timer and gonna die.
Yep.
Okay.
But I
Oh,
don't
so
think
she's
she
a
knows that,
replicant.
so it's fine. Yeah, more or less.
So what you're telling me is nobody can catch a fucking break.
Does Amane catch a
I'm
break?
trying to think of it.
Does Amane have any tragic
actually-
stories?
Actually, Amane has a great time, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, does Terumi catch a break?
No.
No.
In the end, no, he does not. Yeah, Amane, who we haven't been introduced yet, but Amane basically just walks around and watches all the cool shit happening and flirts with young boys. It's good for him. He has a good time.
Just living the fucking dream.
Yeah, everybody else is basically like massive tragedy. Carl goes insane, more or less. Who else is there? Bullet, everybody she ever liked and was friends with died. I mean, Azrael has a good time until he is sealed back again.
That's true, but we haven't met him yet. We can't spoil that one. What if we're spoiling what happens in 5 minutes on this stream? Oh, by the way, they keep mentioning in the they keep talking about Terumi in the text in the dialogue. Terumi is the real Hazama. Hazama is the puppet. Terumi is the spirit possessing Hazama. But Hazama eventually develops some of his own will as well because this game isn't complicated enough.
Yeah, this entire dialogue is basically Ragnar being like, "Fuck off," like you were batshit insane last time, and Hakumen's kind of like, "Yeah, but you know, I'm not as bad now."
Also, I was right then, but
I was right even if I was a dick about it. God. It feels really hollow playing a parry character against the CPU. It's like 3/4 of the fun are gone. Like I know that
play someone else then.
Yeah, I know the CPU won't get angry. That's what like hurts me the most.
So you will
So much
note the
do that in
little
a fighting game, where it's just if you just do really stupid shit, the AI just starts acting more erratically.
Yeah, because the AI's inputs are based on your inputs. So in some games, if you don't do anything for a while, the AI will just stand there until eventually they get the trigger of, "Hey, you haven't done anything for a while, do this now."
So one thing you'll notice occasionally when Ragnar gets a hit in, you'll see little red orbs fly off. That's because of his Azure Grimoire. He is basically stealing life from people as he hits them.
Which,
that's his drive.
Yeah, which really isn't that like good at this game. Like that entire lifesteal aspect is only really good if you do a special combo with the Blood Cane.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fairly minor.
Yeah. Ah, there we go.
So here is Hazama, the big bad of this particular game.
Everyone's favorite smooth criminal.
It is fun hearing them pronounce half these fucking names.
Hazama is delightfully condescending. He is a great character, as is Terumi. Oh right, this. I have to explain this, don't I?
Oh right, he has the Azure Grimoire now?
Yeah, so everyone's chasing after the Azure Grimoire, which is supposed to be the true power of the Boundary. Ragnar thinks he has it, but he's got an incomplete version. And then Hazama thinks he has it, but he has a slightly better, but it turns out also still incomplete version. And then Ragnar gets the true version.
So now we have Boss Hazama, who if you go into his little ring thing, you start losing health.
That's dumb.
Well, it's unlimited Hazama. If you look at like his name, glowing purple, that's unlimited version of a character. But it's kind of like special boss version that you can unlock.
Special super broken, yeah.
Fucking your day up, buddy.
Yeah, I forgot how much of a dick he was.
Yeah, my one online match I ever did in this game was me playing Tiger against Hazama, and him just basically doing like a 30-hit combo on me, but doing no damage to me, and me just basically doing all the damage to him in like one.
Yeah, his stuff does not hit very hard.
Motherfucker.
Which
No!
really confused
Damn it.
me.
Well,
So yeah, the final boss in this game is a bit more annoying. Okay.
Better go on full aggro.
Yeah. Oh fuck, I thought I could jump out of that. Jesus.
Holy shit.
This seems like kind of an asshole boss.
Ah, I fought worse in Arc System games. Let me tell you about XX, Guilty Gear XX, I know.
let me tell you about SNK, just generally speaking.
Google Bernstein. You do not want that shirt to come off.
Psyche from KOF 13 was fucking bullshit.
There we go. Asshole.
You did it. I'm so proud of you.
Oh yeah, so should we get into that one? The Susanoo unit stuff?
I guess? I mean, there's so many
So-
things we can just pick up, so sure.
Okay, so we talked about Terumi is the ghost possessing Hazama, right? The reason that is because he got knocked out of his body. His body was originally the Susanoo unit, which is what Hakumen is in right now. So that's Terumi's original body that Hakumen is currently in, which is why Terumi has to bum it in some other human body.
I like it trying to explain plot.
Split Killer HD asks who knocked him out, and actually, come to think of it, I am not sure. I'm gonna look that up.
Was it Rachel?
It was, I feel like it happened voluntarily, but he didn't realize. I'm gonna look this up.
I know Rachel had the unit and she gave it to Jin.
Right.
Oh yeah, so all the arcade modes in this game are basically what-ifs for the story mode. So basically, here everybody fights Mu 12 at the end, but in the story mode it's very clear who fights her, actually.
Okay, I looked it up. What happened was Terumi got involved with Relius Clover on an experiment to study the boundary and it went bad, and he got fucked up. And so for a while, he got knocked out of his body, and it took him apparently 5 years to heal up. During that time, his body got taken away.
Okay, but what the fuck is her getup?
Don't worry about it.
What
Hey,
the
remember
fuck
when
is her getup?
Remember when I was saying that Mew's costume was the most expensive in PSO2?
That's why.
Yeah, now I know why.